Greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Senior Fellow at the Media Research Center. There are two words that you've heard the people of the Progressive Socialist Left, the Democrat Party, and their media accomplices use quite often. Those two words are manufactured crisis. And they have used those words to describe what has been going on at our border, which without a doubt, my living here in Texas, I will tell you that it is a crisis. As a matter of fact, you even had the former Secretary of Homeland Security under President Obama, Jay Johnson, even admit that you do have a crisis.
If it was under 1,000 apprehensions the day before, that was a relatively good number. And if it was above 1,000, it was a relatively bad number, and I was going to be in a bad mood the whole day. On Tuesday, there were 4,000 apprehensions. I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like. So we are truly in a crisis.
When hundreds of thousands of people are illegally crossing your border and coming to your country in just a single month, this is something that is getting out of control. It is spiraling out of control, and it has been that way for quite some time. But yet, when it is part of the ideological agenda of the progressive left, as a matter of fact, recently the presidential candidate by the name of Robert Francis O'Rourke, who I affectionately refer to as Bob, had a campaign rally out in El Paso, Texas, where he talked about how great it is to have asylum seekers and, well, those people coming here illegally in our country.
We are safe, not despite the fact that we are a city of immigrants and asylum seekers. We are safe because we are a city of immigrants and asylum seekers.
Nancy Pelosi, in a recent visit here to Texas just in February, well, actually in March, during the South by Southwest Festival, she referred to people as newcomers who make America what it is, and also these newcomers should be allowed to vote.
These newcomers make America more American, and we want them, when they come here, to be fully part of our system, and that means not suppressing the vote of our newcomers to America.
But a week ago, we found out what the real manufactured crisis is in the United States of America. And that came from the Mueller report. See, that's what the whole Russian collusion case is. It is the real manufactured crisis here in the United States of America. It's a crisis that was manufactured because of the political thirst for power and control and domination from the Democrat Party and the Progressive Socialist Left. They lost an election, but they couldn't face the fact that they had a very bad candidate that did not get out and work as hard as President Donald Trump ended up doing. And so they had to create this straw man. They had to create something that they could shift the blame towards. And that became, well, the old bear, Russia.
The question is, where and how did the Russians get into this? And I think it's a very important question.
When you really look at this whole Russia manufactured crisis, I remember when President Obama leaned over to then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev and whispered in his ear that
after my election, I have more flexibility. I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and let them with me.
Sounds like collusion, huh? Or how about the cute little yellow box with the red button on top that Hillary Clinton presented to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov?
I wanted to present you, which represents what President Obama and Vice President Biden and I have been saying. And that is, we want to reset our relationship. And so we will do it together.
Or how about the Uranium One Scandal? We were selling uranium off to the Russians. Or about the incredible amount of donations that the Clinton Foundation got. Yeah, President Bill Clinton giving speeches to the Russians. But yet, doing all of this, Russia was not this dark specter that we had to fear. But when President Trump won an election, the manufactured crisis was to use Russia to that end. See, what we have to realize, and why I'm proud to be a senior fellow with the Media Research Center, is we have to keep an eye on the media, the mainstream liberal progressive media, because all they're doing are parroting the talking points. They are getting their messaging directly from a political party. And just the same as we saw a political party pay for a document that was done by a former British agent, Christopher Steele, who worked with the Russians, and turned that over to an organization called Fusion GPS, led by Glenn Simpson, where the wife of a senior member of the Department of Justice, Nellie Orr, whose husband, Bruce Orr, worked for the Department of Justice, with an Andrew McCabe and a James Comey, both top members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Somehow that politicized document got into the hands of people that took it before a FISA court. And that's how it all got started. But we're not looking at that real crisis. The crisis of federal government agencies being leveraged against the American people. We don't have a crisis when it comes to this meddling or collusion or any of these other allegations that the left is trying to leverage against President Trump. But funny, when you talk about meddling in elections, no one said a word when Barack Obama and John Kerry dispatched Obama's campaign operatives to Israel to meddle in the election of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There's one thing I don't like about the progressive socialist left, who now owns the Democrat Party. It's the hypocrisy. But another thing is how they politicize and they make up crises when the real crises are right here before us, but they call them manufactured.